Good morning, my trippy hippies. It is Tammy coming to you live today from my office. It is Sunday morning. It is time for Sunday sermon. It is actually 30 minutes past time for Sunday sermon, but we are always in divine time. That's what we tell everybody. We're always in divine time. We are always right on time. I am going to let a few folks know. I know there's somebody over here I need to let go. Live now on Sunday sermon for Norma Jean from Abilene. Hello, hello, hello. As you jump into this morning, do me a couple of favors. Say hello, tell us where you're watching from. Drop us a grateful fed in the comments. Much like Heather John saying good morning from Toledo and Elizabeth Clark saying good morning from Peru, Virginia. Also dropping those grateful feds this morning, just like they were asked to do. I appreciate y'all very much. Make sure if you're watching this morning, you're doing all those same things. Be like Elizabeth, be like Heather, and drop us the information that we need. Today is going to be, I will not stay super long today since I am late. I don't want to mess up your whole Sunday. I just sent Norma Jean her message. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, y'all. Oh, I'm trying to get this hair up like this because this shoulder on this side does not want, this shoulder on this side does not want to work very well. Good morning, Norma Jean from Abilene. I appreciate you all for tuning in this morning. Thank you for tagging folks, Heather. I appreciate that very much. I was meant to go live on yesterday and pull our winners, and I have them here. I have free prizes here in this my little bucket here. We have made a lot of changes around here. We have the prizes for everybody. I'm not going to do those on this live, but I am going to. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Miss Debbie Overstreet. I have not seen you in a while, darling. Good morning. Um, I will go live strictly in the hippie page a little bit later because I am live at a couple of places this morning. I am live on my personal page. I am live on the Hometown Hippie VIP page, and I'm live in the Tamunity over on YouTube this morning. If you are just now joining us, this is the first time you've ever watched us, we go live every Sunday morning, or as many Sunday mornings as I can possibly muster out of my body. And we go live from about an hour on Sunday mornings just to talk about usually a guided message or something that's kind of coming through the week, some type of something that pops in. I usually try to channel in what I can channel in. I'm not sure who this is. Good morning, Facebook user. Just says Facebook user. Um, Hello from Appomattox. Hello, Lisa Phillips. It's Melissa Jones. Hi, Melissa. Melissa. As many of you see, we did have some of your favorite things come back into stock this week. Some of the things you're still waiting on have not gotten here yet, but they are en route. We have tracking numbers and such, so we should be able to get you all straight this week. Melissa Dawn is, yep, I figured that's Melissa Jones. Perfect. Melissa Dawn is Facebook user. Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you so very much. I appreciate all of you so very much. Melanie Lewis, it was her birthday. Good morning. Good morning. Yesterday. Good morning, Shannon. Nice to see you. I saw Shannon downtown the other night. That was nice to see people in person. And we're going to talk about some things that I need to let y'all know what's going on with me because I've been kind of cryptic and I told y'all we'd chat this morning. We're going to have a little chat this morning. It's okay. What you're going to do is next time you're going to go in, you're going to allow StreamYard permission to see your name, and then we'll be able to have access to you. We'll be able to see you. Sorry. I got little like nitty gnats and stuff like that. Yes. So Melanie Lewis's daughters threw her a big surprise 50th birthday party last night. And they got us to cater it for them. And I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't talk about this party catering because I didn't want to mess up the surprise. But we were really excited to be able to cater Melanie Lewis's 50th birthday party. They did some party platter pickups yesterday. And we really put a lot of energy into making sure that the next 50 are as great as the first 50 are better than the first 50, right? So happy birthday, Melanie Lewis. Somebody tag Melanie. Is she in here this morning? I didn't see her pop in yet. She always says, hi, what you doing? She's probably still sleeping. I did message her this morning, so I know she's up. So let's talk about today's message is like getting old is not for not for the weak. I have been very cryptic about some things that are going on, and I got my doctor has not called me yet, but you know how you get that email and it says your lab core is back, and you get to see all the results before your doctor does. So yesterday morning, right as I was getting ready to like get myself together and come in here and to do all the things, I got the email from LabCorp that the blood that they did on Wednesday when I went to the doctor came back. So I had to look at it to see what's going on, see if there's anything to be of note. And there are some things that I was hoping not to see. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm seeing, but I do. I know that I'm going to be on some type of a diabetic medication. My A1C was terrible. Like it's the little chart was like above this, you must need medical intervention. So I know they're going to try to give me something for my blood sugar. I am going to do. I cannot be eating I cannot be eating all of these things all the time now. So you will see me with some beef jerky, and you will see me with some tincture, and you will see me with some hot sauce. Personally, I've also been working with. So if you are someone who suffers from medical conditions and you want to know like how do you still utilize uh, this business for your medicine, the way that I do that, I have coconut oil, olive oil, hot sauce, tincture. Um, we have sugar-free gummies. I mean, sugar-free caramels now. Um, so I have plenty of things to help those of you who are like me and who have to not enjoy anymore, not all the time. Only on Fridays do I get one of these. But I am going to be supplementing my night snacks with something different. I'm going to see how that works with the insulin and all the things that I have to get on. And I really want to try to control as much of this as I can with lifestyle changes because you know I prefer a holistic approach. The other thing that I saw, and I'm thinking that I'm hoping and we're praying and we're holding space for, is all of the tests that are associated with my liver are really bad. Like all of my everything going on with my liver, there's something happening with that. But at the very end of the results, and I'm not a doctor, didn't say a Holiday Inn Express last night. I don't pretend to play one, but I did meditate over it last night and just to get clarity around it. One of the last tests that came back, two little things. So one of them, like when I tell you like my liver tests are bad, like the high end of normal was like 78 and my level was over 400. So that's something of concern. And I also tested positive, like off the charts positive for Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And so that can affect your liver really badly. And I'm thinking they're going to probably start me on a high dose of antibiotics whenever she sees that. Like, I feel like maybe that's a thing that affects the kidneys, but it also affects some of the other things that I've been having issues with. And I'm thinking that I probably need to get that taken. I think that that's going to make me feel overall better. But the thyroid, the A1C, and the liver functions, those things were all really bad and really wonky. And there was a weird antigen thing with my thyroid that we were like hoping that this was just, hypodense. There's just some indications of some things going on. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to be honest with you, right? It's mind over matter. I don't feel well. I can be honest. Y'all have noticed that I have not felt well. I've not been live as much. My energy has not been the same. However, right, considering what my blood work looks like, and, when you read Dr. Google, like it doesn't, like my level of not feeling well does not correlate with my blood work. Like I know that in my life, and two things can be true, that my ability to see the bright side, my ability, and I'm thinking that's what's really like all of the numbness I have I haven't talked to y'all. I've talked to y'all a little bit about stuff, but like I have some paralysis. Like I can't feel, like all of this is numb. It feels like I've had Novocaine. and it comes and gets better and worse, better and worse, better and worse kind of thing, right? Um, what is going on? All of a sudden, like everything is popping in. Dismiss. I need to hang on. There we go. All of a sudden, like every email I've gotten in the last month, a pop thing was popping across. I except two things can be true. I know that I need some medical stuff to go on, right? Now, Tammy, 4 or 5 years ago, before my awakening, before my understanding of, um, mindset and perspective and all of these things, I would have taken to the bed and I would have been like, woe is me. I would have been making these cryptic messages on Facebook about, hope you love me when I'm gone. I'm tired of being tired. Y'all seen it. If you've been my friends for more than 5 years, you've seen those posts. I'm not doing that. I'm not claiming that energy. Um, I know that everything is of the divine or nothing is. And this was probably a little bit of a wake up call for me to truly do the work that I have been talking about doing, which means that namaste, right? That's what I tell people. I've been saying this forever. Like what do you prescribe to? What is your spirituality? What is your faith? When people want to know, like, oh, you don't go to church, and I tell people I don't yuck anybody's yum. I don't boo anybody's beautiful. I believe that we all have um, a ability to have our own relationship with divine, with God, whatever words you want to use, right? And I see, and I'm gonna say this. I always say namaste. So namaste translates loosely. I'm getting my translation of what I'm seeing. Right, is the divine in me recognizes or sees the divine within you. Right, so the divine, like namaste, the divine in me sees the divine in you, and it's just kind of a recognition of like we are of the same cloth. Like I believe that every single one of us has divinity within. We are all of the divine, right? And I want each of you to understand that when I tell you to step one is to get out of that shower in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, and mean it. It doesn't just mean saying I love you. And I have been doing that I love you to myself thing, right? But I've been gaslighting my own damn self because you take care of those things that you love. And I have not been taking care of me. And I believe a lot of you out there watching probably can understand this. If you can understand that you love I love myself. I'm great. I'm perfect. But you do not treat yourself like something that you love. Right? Two things can be true. Like I can give myself that talk every day and I can look myself in the eyes and I can truly make myself believe I love you, Tammy. And I know that I'm deserving of love and I know that all of you love me, right? But whenever I do the things that I do in the course of the day, maybe not getting enough rest, maybe not making the most life affirming choices all the time, maybe going and getting an extra piece of cake or getting an extra roll with dinner or an extra helping of carbohydrates or not taking the walk because I don't feel good and I'm tired, right? Those are the things that I need to, and so it's like, stop talking about it and start being about it, right? So that's what I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to do today. If you're out there in this world and you are struggling, maybe, and I always say things don't happen to me, they happen through me. Somebody else out there is going to watch whatever this journey looks like for me, this health journey. Y'all have been with me before. I really did. I turned my life around. I got confidence. I was able to stand in my power to do the things that I have done over the last 5 years because I was tired of being tired. I was tired of not feeling well. And I truly believed with all of my purpose inside of my body that I reversed all of my medical conditions strictly with mindset. I took myself off of 13 medications and I literally just said, I'm done. I am going to take a more holistic approach to taking care of myself, which is what we have arisen with Hometown Hippie, with Grateful Fed Catering, all of the things, healing ourselves through food magic. Now, I can heal each and every one of you through that. But for some reason, I tend to not always make the best choices for me. We cook a beautiful meal every Wednesday night, and most of the time, Red and I have to order fast food because I've sold it all out, right? Where he's like, we matter too. And I'm like, you're right. I need to make enough food to make sure that we have those holistically food magic kind of things that are made with perfect, starch, veg, protein, all the things. So, if you're out there today and you're playing yourself lip service and you're saying, the divine in me recognizes the divine in you, and you say you love yourself, I want you to start walking the walk, not just talking the talk. I'm going to encourage you to take this journey with me, and I'm going to encourage you to start making choices for yourself that are really about how to treat yourself like you love you. And I thought about that. I'm like, what are the things that my mom, whenever she was dealing with health things, I wanted her to do? I wanted her to, like, maybe not choose pizza and French fries, and maybe choose a salad and a lean piece of chicken. I'm going to start doing those things. And, um, I'm going to stop thinking that something that is sweet is treating myself. And I'm going to make a conscientious effort to, you know, uh, to choose the things in this world that are to the highest and best of my physical body as well as my spiritual body. And so, that's why whenever we cook here, and I'm like, I need to eat here because what I'm doing is I'm selling it to everybody else, and we're putting all the intentionality, and we're using whole foods, and we're using whole ingredients, and we're making these delicious things, and I'm not getting any. I've got to go run across town and pick up a burger at McDonald's on the way home because I didn't get a chance I didn't make enough for us. And, it was one of those things where I was talking to Red a couple of weeks ago. Please look into black seed and psyllium. I've dropped my A1C by 4 points and cholesterol by 12 points. Diet changes also, but it helped. So it wasn't just an extreme change at once. I still cheat a little bit. I love that. I will look into that. I will look into that. Right now, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to get myself on an actual food pattern where I don't wait. I don't how I'm not eating that much. But what I'm doing is, and this is maybe a lot of you do this as well, like I don't eat a lot during the day. Like occasionally I'll come in here and grab a breakfast sandwich occasionally. Um, or I'll pick something. But most of the time I don't eat until dinner time. And I don't eat until dinner, and then all of a sudden after I partake because that's part of my medicine. It makes me sleep. And then after I eat dinner and I've sat down and we've puffed or whatever, then at between 9 and 11, that's where things get little like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'll go grab chips. I'll go grab something that's just I shouldn't eat. So I'm gonna go put like cucumbers, and I'm gonna put, yeah, and that is my problem. That is my problem, right? I snack at night. I get inside. I'm doing something. So yesterday, I'm like, I made my own homemade chips versus going to the store and buying processed. Because here's the thing, right? I also believe in like nighttime snacking. Yeah, nighttime snacking. I think that's everybody's worst trait, right? That's my worst trait. But I'm gonna have things for that nighttime snacking that are a little bit better choices. Okay, and I am going to try to eat like 5 small meals a day. So maybe there I'm not hungry at that night. And when I did keto, that's what I did, right? I would get up in the morning, I would have my protein, like a couple boiled eggs, some almonds, some cheese. Then in the mid morning, I might have a couple slices of bacon. Um, Sometimes I would do, I did a lot of cheese when I was doing keto, a lot of cheese. Um, Strawberries or berries and almonds. And then lunch, I'd have a nice like grilled piece of chicken over greens, or I'd have like a hamburger with no bun and some green beans, or something like broccoli and something like that. I kind of a nice heavy lunch. Mid afternoon, that's where I might have some like turkey and maybe some more almonds, or uh, pork rinds were my little snacky treat with keto, that kind of thing. And then dinner again, we'd have the grilled meat, the vegetables, maybe my little small little baked potato, something like Irish sweet potato, something like that. Um, Cheese is my good, yeah. And so I'm just going to make those choices. But what I want to say is, I really believe that I'm not. I'm going to be honest. I believe that I am not, have not died of a heart attack or something weird, crazy with all this stuff going on with me, is because I don't eat processed food. Like I don't, I don't heat up a bag of chicken nuggets, or I don't, when we make fries, we hand cut fries. When we are very conscientious about, even if it's maybe not the, maybe if it's not, like, it might be a cheeseburger, or it might be, fried chicken, but it's a real piece of chicken, and it's a real, like, we know where the burger came from. And I believe that that's been a blessing for me over the last few years, is raising, using as much local and organic food, even if it's not, the leanest cut, or the cooked in the most like leanest way, because I like delicious gravy covered food. I know that about myself, right? Oh, I like that idea. Every night I make my husband and I sort of a charcuterie board of healthy snacks to keep us out of the bad stuff when Munchie said. I like that a lot. And we've been doing trail mixes and nuts at our house. I don't really care for olives. I don't eat pickles. So a lot of things that are like lower in carbohydrates, that are like snacky foods, are just not my favorite foods. Like, I like some chips, right? I like some cream cheese based dips. So we're gonna get there. I know how to do it. I just have to do it. And I realized that, whenever I was doing, on my health journey before, um, I was very much putting myself first, and I treated myself like something that mattered. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. And I'm going to encourage you to do that moving forward as well. But what I was going to say a minute ago about that whole two things can be true, and understanding the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And I have to take my own advice, because a couple of weeks ago, Red and I were having this conversation, and about, his spirituality, and how we have different belief systems, and all these things. And the conversation, I'm not getting into the depths of it, but the conversation, good morning, y'all. Yeah, I love fruits and things like that. And I have some really good, like, gluten-free things that I enjoy eating and all of that. I'm going to put some stuff together. I'm going to the store when I leave here, to get some, pieces and parts, right? Yes, some are high in carbs and sugars. That yes, must eat high protein is not an easy task. I will be Yes, I am very good at eating high protein. I'm very, very, very good at that. Right now, I need to watch all of it, so I'm really not going to go into any, like. I'm going to do more of a Mediterranean, paleo, whole food, watching my portions, just eating with gratitude. And one of the things that I watched, Red and I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to tell you all this in a second. So I was talking to Red about his spirituality and all these things. We were having this conversation about, lifestyle choices, and sticking around for one another, and the reason that I ride his ass about things. And I said, I don't. You get mad at me when I have these conversations with you about, like, you should do this, you should do that. I'm not your parent. I understand the frustration, because I get frustrated when he's like, hey, make better choices, because I love you and I want you to be around for a while. And my and I could probably talk to a lot of y'all sitting here, but whenever it comes to your weight, especially for women, I think our weight, even if the word health is used around it, we get very. I don't want to put everybody together, but I need a hallelujah amen. But I get very defensive around it, and I get my feelings hurt very easily around conversations regarding food, health, and weight. And I believe that that is probably one of the, hardest and most, I don't know, like, that's the hardest thing, right? Is to have a conversation around it, with, number one, not hurting, not hurting people's feelings, or not triggering somebody, or not offensive about it, because you can say like, I mean, two things can be true, right? I mean, I I immediately get defensive. I'm like, you don't like me because that's very much a programmable. That's a programmed response. That is not anything anybody has done. That is our own insecurity around our weight, right? That is our insecurity and the way we have been taught to feel bad about our bodies when they don't look like something we see on television. And we see it as very much, we have attached this weird relationship to our physical view of our physical body and our and this is my I'm not a doctor, blah blah blah, blah, right? And the worthiness of love. I was taught. I have had, and this is I'm going to tell you all those two things can be true. My nanny was the best nanny that ever walked on 2 feet. I love. I'm not talking. I'm not mad at my nanny. My nanny does because either one of my nannies, which was my grandma's. I called them nanny. Um, but I remember both of my grandmothers because I've always been a healthy thick, right? I remember both of my grandmothers saying things to me, fussing at me at the dinner table about going back for seconds, saying things like, "You keep eating that, nobody's ever going to want to marry you. You don't want to go to high school as a fat girl, you'll get made fun of." And those things were not but that was a generational thing. And I see girls now who are way heavier than me, built body sizes different, out here in two-piece bathing suits, letting it hang out. When I tried to put a bikini on and I saw the picture of what I looked like in it, like recently, like in a picture album, and I'm like, holy shit, I look good in that. I wish I would have known. I wish that I would have had the confidence and seen that 16-year-old Tammy through the eyes of 40-year-old Tammy or 50-year-old Tammy, because at 14, once somebody told me that I was too big to wear a bikini, and I've never had a two-piece bathing suit on since. And I bought one 2 years ago when I lost the weight and still couldn't wear it out in public. I cried. I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm too insecure. That I know it's kind of one of those high rise. I couldn't do it. It made me. I wore it at the women's retreat, the only place I ever felt comfortable, and I put this over top of it because I felt very insecure and very gross in my body. Um, yeah, no man's gonna love you when you're fat. Yeah, and they would tell me that, right? And I heard that, and so I have very much created this relationship. Yes, and the women would do that, and that's why for me it's about community and building a village. And if you're healthy in your body, then don't let anybody make you feel bad about it. I do understand that there is a health component to weight, and I'm not saying that, but let's stop pretending that there's not fat phobia in this world as well, and that you're pretty for a big girl or you got such a pretty face. I heard those things. So I very much use weight as a comfort, as a blanket. I use weight as a defense mechanism, right? It was also one of those things when I get mad at myself, the way that I would punish myself, I feel like, was to put on more weight. And I feel like that comes from that programming. And I'll leave it at that. That's going to get me in my emotions because that came out and I didn't really realize um, that, I really didn't realize. Hello, Melly. We're just talking about a bunch of stuff. Good morning. Good morning. We're just talking about you. Go up there and check out all the happy birthdays. So when I had this conversation with Red about fussing and all the things, I told him the same thing I tell y'all. It's like, if I go online and I talk to millions of people who I don't live in the same house as them, I've not made a lifelong commitment to be their partner. Um, these are people who matter to me. They're part of our community, but you are my life partner. And if I did not invest in you and invest in us and did not say the things to you that I say to them, then how what kind of partner would I be in life? And I encouraged him. I was like, you talk about God's beauty, and we have very, very different relationships with like what divinity looks like. He prescribes to the traditional Christian kind of concepts of repentance and accepting Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior, and that's the way to heaven. I have a different prescription, but I don't yuck that. I'm like, that's your way to get to heaven. I respect that. I'll bow my head and say the blessing with dinner. I blessed it beforehand. I said the blessing already when I was cooking it, but certainly bless that food. Yes, I'm so glad that you had such a great night. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Um, Yep, Heather says, in my darkest time, I was the heaviest because if I was fat, I could be alone and no one bothered me. I've changed my mindset, but it creeps. Yeah, it does, right? And so I told him, I was like, I told Rex, he says he doesn't go to church on Sunday mornings a lot of, never, ever anymore. We used to, he doesn't anymore. But his people from church or his parents, things like that are like, hey, you know, and Red's answer is always that I everyone's walk with God is different, which we both agree on that, right? He says so for him being out in nature on Sunday mornings, and he does that a lot. He gets up super early sometimes on Sundays. He will go sit on the kayak or go fishing with a friend or whatever, but he says that he enjoys being able to be out in, and he can give so much more appreciation and thanks to God for all of the beauty in nature. He says, God, look at everything around me. Look at what God has created, how gorgeous the trees are, how gorgeous the water is, how gorgeous the birds are. And I looked at him and I was like, and looking in the mirror, and you thank God for those things, but how many times have you looked at yourself and seen that same beauty? Because you were made by the same God. And that's where the namaste comes. And he was like, I never thought of that. And if you're going to recognize the divinity in everything else, you have to recognize the divinity within you, because again, everything is of God or nothing is. So even people who are maybe not in alignment with the light, they are still of God. God still made that person. There's still something that has to be learned there, right? Church is any place you speak to God, not a man's building. You're completely correct, but the traditional church body, um, and I'm going to talk about this. Is interesting you brought this up because I talked about that. Then I'll tell this other story. So one of the things that I started researching around the world was like sticking around longer. Where are places like they're called blue zones? And there's this Netflix documentary called "Living to 100: The World, Exploring the World's Blue Zones." And I've heard about these and I've watched documentaries on them before, but there are these places around the world where like most of the people live to be centenarians, which means they're 100 years old or older. And I'm going to do Elizabeth Clark, so I'm going to get distracted if I see a comment. I want to tell the story without distraction, so I'm going to do this and then come back to that. Elizabeth Clark says, I've been on the side of weight loss enough to see the difference in how I feel. Much better. However, I easily slip into old bad habits because food is everywhere and everything, and it's a familiar comfort for immediate gratification. You are 100% correct, right? And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about all of these things and what I am going to try to do, and I'm going to encourage y'all, if you want to, do it. If you don't want to, don't do it, right? But I watched this documentary, and one of the things that I thought was very interesting is how America, for example, like all the places where people live to be 100, there's some very much like, what are the things, like this guy went in and explored and kind of, and examined and researched, and he found what are the things that they have in common, that those are the things that we need. And he's actually brought these like ideas back into the United States and brought them into certain small towns and to cities. Phoenix is doing, there's a bunch of studies. He actually helps raise the life expectancy. But the United States of America has made us, sitting is the new smoking. So all of these people, some of the things like, number one, they have community. And we have a community here which we can lean into, right? So they have support and community and friendships that last a lifetime. people who they have created bonds with, and they help each other and they support each other, and they lean into those people because you need a good support staff. Number two, they were a faith based, whatever kind of faith it was around the world, but they had a faith based community that they showed up to. Like they went to church. Some of these people went to church every day. A lot of them were Catholic. They walked to church. Some of them were Buddhist, whatever, but they participated in their faith based activities, and they were there because then you weren't like, people were noticing if you weren't feeling well and catching it early and saying, hey, something seems off. You weren't being found 3 weeks later dead in your house because nobody knew you were there or even cared that maybe they noticed your hand shaking. So those things help people to stay ahead of themselves. And when you're depressed, anxiety, you're by yourself, right? Nobody, you don't want to be by yourself. When you get older, it's like, why? You give up the will. So the more you're around people, the more that you're care about you, those things matter. So going to church, like gotta go to a house of worship, but going somewhere to be around that, showing up here, right? The other thing is that they said the steeper the villages were, the longer the people lived. And that was because even though people were not going to the gym and physically working out, they were actually physically moving their bodies, and getting that anaerobic exercise without realizing it. They moved, they exercised all day. They didn't have the conveniences of walking from here to my car, from driving my car everywhere, and then walking from my car to my house. They had to walk to the grocery store. They made everything was very people friendly, not car friendly, not bus friendly. Like they would walk 10 minutes. They said everything's like a 10-minute walk from the train station. Singapore, for example, has the highest life expectancy. There's like millions of people there, but you have to pay $100,000 for the benefit to drive a car, so they don't drive. The United States has made it where all people have to work to live, like all the things like hand washing dishes, making corn tortillas from corn, right? Growing their own food, killing their own meat, all of the things that they have to do to live takes effort and work. And therefore, because they're not using modern conveniences, basically modern conveniences have actually caused our life expectancy to go down because we're not physically moving our bodies and we're able to be a little less mobile. Movement matters, right? Movement matters. And I know that the year that I was growing my own, I was out in the sunshine, I was getting the oxygenation that I needed to my cells, I think. But I felt good that year, right? I wasn't carrying the weight, all the things. And we slip into these things, we slip into these habits. And it'd be nice to be able to maybe make some permanent lifestyle changes, and being excited about it. Because I think a lot of times when we see these opportunities, like, oh, now I've got to like walk to the mailbox, which is driving my car and picking up the mail. Like I have to walk. No, you get to walk. How lucky am I that I still have 2 feet that will carry me the half a mile to the end of my driveway and back? That's just moving. That's moving my body. They were not running around. Also, they had a lot less stress. Cortisol is a killer. Cortisol makes you hold weight, all the things. They ate whole foods. They didn't eat prepackaged foods. They in the Mediterranean specifically. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. I'm not sure who this is, but hello, hello, hello. And they literally would eat till they're like 80% full. Like they're like, there's no reason to gorge ourselves. And they ate these big community dinners, and they did like, they had a glass of wine with their dinner. That was another thing, like one glass of wine. They weren't heavy drinkers, but they did drink some wine. They ate whole foods. They ate smaller portions. They ate in community. They sat down to eat, and they took their time. And everything was at a slower pace. And I am not good with that. I am really bad at a slower pace, but that is something that I'm working on. Like this lady was, hey, Kevin, this lady was like 104 years old, and she still had muscles, like still had muscle tone and stuff in her arm. And she said, and basically outside of her house, and the guy said, how often do you go to church? She says, she's Italian or Mediterranean. She's like, every day. And he goes, how do you get there? She's like, I'll walk. It takes me about 10 minutes. And the guy goes, that's impressive, because I know when you leave your house, because she's in the bottom, last thing, it is straight uphill to whatever you go to in your community. And so she walked straight up a mountain every day. I mean, it was like one of those, like, them straight ups and then steps and all the things. Um, so she did that every day to go to church there and back at 104 years old. Nobody came to pick her up for church, to put her in her walker, to get her in the wheelchair, to do all that. These were not 100-year-olds that were burdens to society. These were 100-year-olds that were still taking care of themselves, could talk to you like I'm talking to you. They were doing like upside down headstands. They were very vital. They had a good quality of life. It was about quality of life, not the number. There's a bunch of 100-year-olds laying in a nursing home over there, drooling and having their butts wiped. Nobody wants to live that life. These are people who lived in their own homes, they didn't take any prescription medications. They were healthy, vital members of society. And so these blue zones, I am going to take some of these things. I am going to slow down eating and take my time. That way I'm going to get full. We scarf our food down so fast that our bodies don't even have time to feel full. By the time we feel full, we're past full and we're stuffed. So portions are huge, right? I'm going to make my plate smaller, because if you eat off a smaller plate, it looks like more food. So I'm going to try those little tricks and tips. So there's just a few little things I'm going to try to do to make myself feel better. But what today's message is really about, it's about this. It's about looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you, but not letting it be lip service. Stop gaslighting yourself. I want you to start treating yourself like something you love. And that is not just me telling you to do that. All these fingers, all four of these fingers are pointing back at me when I say, you need to do this. I need to do it too. Heather says, I just saw an interview with an Appalachian woman who is 90, still does all the things. Her answer was the mountain saved her because it keeps her away from big America. We need to change our lifestyles for sure. And you're not wrong about that. And we need to, and we're going to. We are going to I am going to, and what you do is what you do, right? I am going to, because I need to make some lifestyle changes. Number one, my muscle fatigue and all of that, I feel like I right now don't have the ability to go walk a mile. I couldn't probably walk a half a mile without collapsing. I'm that tired. But I feel like I know how to answer with knowing that the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, the antigens are super high. It makes sense. It can cause the numbness. It can cause the vascular, the liver, all of that. I'm hoping that is the key to a lot of this. And then the other things are A1C control, getting the thyroid handled, and getting the shoulder reconstructed. I'm going to have surgery. I know that. That is a given. I am not going to stress over when it is. Whenever the doctor says it needs to happen, I'm going to have it happen, because I am not just talk about it. I'm going to start being about it. And I am going to start doing the things that are treating myself like the divinity that I am. And whether or not you decide to do that for you, that is 100% in your category and your balls in your court. We're going to be a community that does it together. I am going to be I'm going to be working on putting together a little healthy snack pack for people like me who need the medicine but maybe don't need as much sugar. Some of you, it's not, you do your one a night. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to probably still do my 420 cookie, and, I'll just break it up. And there's certain things that work well for me that may not work well, and baked goods work better for me. They just do. So I'm going to figure out a way to make those fit in. I'm going to be taking some insulin. I know I'm not cutting out everything. What I am going to say is that I'm going to make choices, and I'm not going to be mad at myself when I make them. I am going to embrace my journey, whatever that looks like. I'm going to move a little bit more once I physically can. I really think that if they can get this spotted fever, I've had petechia. I don't know if you can't really see it. I've had these, I looked at the symptoms of it, And I'm a little nervous. Like they need to handle this immediately because this has been really probably been the thing that's made me feel as bad as I feel. Um, and I'm really, 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 really hoping that I get a call and she's like, hey, go pick this antibiotic up. And within days, I start feeling better. I'm not sure if I may have to go get IV. I don't know. I don't know until I know. I know that as with the symptoms that I have of the Mountain spotted fever, I feel like once they get that out of me, like that infection thing out of me and done, that I am going to feel a lot better. I already feel a little bit better with having the low dose blood pressure pill that's kept my head from hurting so much this week. I still have a headache, but I think that is from the other thing. Also, that's what it affects is the liver, that Rocky Mountain. So I'm thinking all that liver stuff might be able to be reversed with curing that. So we're going to hold space for that. We're going to hold a positive attitude. I called Heather yesterday because I was like, I posted about the blood work and I didn't want Heather is like the person who will call me like, girl, I'm coming to get what the hell do you need? Get your shit together and figure it out. And I didn't want her to feel like like what's going on or to worry because y'all love me and I love each and every one of you. And so many of you reach out to me like, I will come. Do what do you need? And I appreciate that. And I hear you. I could probably go through here and play a game of having you guess 1 to 1,000 how many messages I've gotten. It's like, girl, please take care of yourself. Girl, please take care of yourself. And I thought that I was like in my mind, I was taking, and I looked at it the other day. I'm like, I'm taking care of things, not me. I'm taking care of things that need to be taken care of so that the business runs. I'm taking care of things that need to be taken care of so that my household runs, so that Red's okay, so that the girls here are okay, so that, my customers are okay. But have I really been taking care of me? No, I haven't been. And I'll be the first to admit that. I'm no longer going to have any type of defensiveness around discussions about my weight. Um, I know that I put weight on when I eat foods that are not good for me in excess. Um, am I going to never have another cheeseburger and french fries? No, I am having a cheeseburger and french fries. Am I never, ever, ever going to have another piece of cake? That is complete horseshit. Yes. I'm going to have those things. I am just going to do that in a more life affirming way. And I'm going to um, be do all things with gratitude and do all things with love. Uh, and so I hope that each and every one of you will at least change your relationship with you feel with your bodies and understand that our grannies, our nannies, our aunties, our moms, whoever put that in our head about no one will love us if we're heavy, they were wrong because I am loved by so many people, and I have never been a skinny girl ever in my life. But I'm going to tell you the most important thing. If somebody chooses not to love me because my body is a little heavier than other people's bodies, then those people, there's nothing to do with me. They don't love themselves, right? And people can't give love when they don't have love within themselves. Like I tell people all the time, like you cannot be loved by anybody else until you know how to love yourself, because how do you know what love looks like? If you don't love yourself, how do you know how you're supposed to be loved? And so I'm going to work through that relationship with myself and recognize that I am a valid human being, whether I am heavy or not. The weight, I just want to be healthy. If I stay this weight and all of my blood work is good and I feel good in my body and I can move my body and I can stick around for everybody else, I don't care about what frame is. Like that's not the goal. I see so many people like I'm taking this medicine because I'm not putting the weight back on. That hurts my heart. It's like there's like this Wegovy medicine, and they might put me on that. I hope they don't. I hope they don't because I've heard bad things about it. But uses of weight loss medicine that can literally cause people to like have cancer and have heart attacks and all these things. But these people who've lost weight on it are more worried about the weight loss. Now, I understand the joy of seeing the results of hard work and diet to pay off with the body that you want to feel good in. But please stop associating thin with healthy, because I know a lot of thin bitches who eat Oreos and couldn't lift and are weak and are not healthy and have bad lab work. Their bodies just burn fat differently. So do not associate health with thinness, because that is not the case. Okay. And not everybody who's overweight is unhealthy. Sometimes we carry a little extra weight. It's maybe not good for our knees, but I have never been thin and I have not always been unhealthy. I have always been thicker and built bigger, and I am going to start loving the skin that I'm in. It is not about how I look. And if somebody wants to address how I look about my health, then that is a them problem, not a me problem. And I'm not going to get my feelings hurt by it, and I'm not going to let it bother me. I have eyes. So when I went to the doctor on Saturday night and took me to the ER, he was like, well, what's going on? I was like, he's like, do you have medical problems? I'm like, I am 50 years old. I obviously have, I mean, looking at myself, I know that, my blood pressure is high for a reason. It's lifestyle choices at this point. If I can reverse anything with a lifestyle choice or a holistic approach, I will, because the last thing I want to do is have big pharma shoved down my throat again. I also know that two things can be true. There can be medicines that the universe, the God, whatever has helped man to create that is the highest and best to help lower blood pressure, to help with the A1C, to put the insulin hormone back in your body. And I'm not going to let myself die because I don't want to take a medicine that's going to keep me alive. I'm not that person. I promise y'all I'm not that holistic. I understand a holistic approach. And while I'm utilizing that to feel better, I am going to reverse some of this that I can with diet, exercise, lifestyle changes, things like that. Well, we just had a car jump. Y'all saw that, right? It just literally jumped out at us. Interesting. We have not had this card. This is this week's. Every week I try to draw a collective card for our message for the week, for our journaling. And I don't even know what this one is. Let's see. Christo phrase, allow yourself. And I think we had this a couple weeks ago. Christo phrase, allow yourself to receive. It's a beautiful green stone. So the card states this: it can sometimes be easier to give than to receive, but receiving help from others is a necessary component of a healthy lifestyle. Open up to receiving, give. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. There has to be a balance between give and take in all of your relationships, whether it's with friends, family, or coworkers. If you notice yourself feeling guilty or uneasy when others give to you, shift your attitude so you can embrace what they have to offer. And I love that very much, right? Where do you where do you give more than you receive? That's a great question. And it's interesting because I said two things can be true, right? Sometimes you know what the best thing is to do for you, but you're a little scared of it, right? You know that you should love yourself, but you still struggle with like looking at your finding fault. You can love your parents, and some of the things that they did growing up was not to the highest and best for you, and it hurt you. But this is a really interesting core question, right? It's going to help you find those areas in life where maybe you can even the scale a little bit, right? Maybe you're out of balance. It's going to help you even the scale. And so, where do you give more than you receive? And that's a place when you see that you understand there has to be an equal exchange of energy. That is rule one in Reiki. There must be an exchange of energy, an equal exchange of energy. For someone to want to do better, they have to exude the energy to want it. You can't fix something that does not want to be fixed. So you have to have that exchange of energy. They have to have a little skin in the game. So if you're looking at places where you give more than you receive, maybe that's an area to start with to heal, right? What feelings cause you to do so? So where do you feel like you have to give more? How many of you who have this relationship with your body and your weight and that fear of like they're not going to love me if, how many of you have a relationship with a partner who that kind of flows into, who maybe because you're heavy you do more than you receive because you feel like you have to keep that person in your life? I'm guilty of that. Done that. But it says stop. I'm here. I love you. You don't need to do this. But that's my insecurity. It's not a them thing. That's an us thing. I'm not saying that they're asking you to do that. Two things can be true, right? We can project that fear onto our partners and it causes a ton of problems, right? It causes a ton of problems because we're doing what we think we have to keep them. And that's not at all what they want us to do. right? But we have been programmed to believe that we're not worthy because we don't feel a certain way. We don't love ourselves a certain way. I want you this week to really explore that. I want friendships, work relationships. Where are you giving way more than you receive, and what feelings are causing you to do that? Your shifts can make you. Repeat that. My mouth's not working. What shifts can you make to create more balance in those relationships? So then once you see like where you're giving more, why you're doing it, then you can understand what shifts you can make to change that and do better. I love that. Our affirmations this week, our crystal card affirmations this week. Affirm, I allow myself to receive. Today, say thank you without hesitation or deflection to all way. They say, "Oh, I like that dress. Oh, this thing comes from Walmart was $1. Oh, but no, it doesn't matter. Thank you. I am. This card. I'm the worst at it. I am the worst at it. I hate when y'all try to give to me all the time. I'm like, no, 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 and I want to give back because I don't feel like I'm worthy of receiving from anybody. And I've worked on that. I'm better at it than I used to be. Right. Every day I'm allowed to receive. I am great at giving. I know how to give, but I also know that I get in my head about it. Like if I'm not giving, nobody's going to want me. I'm not lovable, all the things. And as I work through this shadow work, I've worked through this. I've gotten through it. You can only do the shadow work and you can only heal to the level that you're vibrating. As we raise our vibration, these kind of things are going to come up again and again. So if you've been here for a while, you've heard, like I've heard this sermon before, I've heard this message in a different way before. That's because it's coming up to be reknown again, and it is resurfacing to be reknown. And I do not believe that I'm the only person resurfacing for. That's why I come here and I tell you all the time, like I said before, things don't happen to me, they happen through me. And sometimes I wish they didn't. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to like crawl in a hole and I don't want to be a messenger and I just want to have a pity party. And I did that the last 2 days. It's like, I've done it. I had that moment of myself. And I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, I thought I could just vibrate my way through this. And the universe is like, no, you have to take care of you. We love that you take care of others, but you cannot pour from an empty cup, Tammy. And that's what the meditation came into me this weekend, right? I am letting go of being a one-sided giver, and I can receive as well as I can give. And I'm going to try to be better at that. It comes with boundary setting. It comes with all the things. I want to give, and I wouldn't. And here's the thing, though. I will tell you this, right? That is one of those things where if it would have been the cinnamon toast crunch cookie, we would have maybe unsealed it. But that raspberry cookie whoops my ass, and I need to like be better about it. And I appreciate you wanting to give me half of your cookie. Elizabeth sent Selena a message this week, and she had ordered one of the raspberry cookies, and she's like, "I want you to take that cookie, split it in half, and I want Tammy to have half of it to feel better." And I was like, I appreciate that. I told Selena, I was like, do not unheat seal that. Do not give me half of that cookie because that is not my cookie. I was like, I will. This is what I did. I was like, Elizabeth Clark, I'll let you give me a 420 cookie because I took one of those home instead. And it really helped. It really helped. I know the sugar and all. No, it was more about that cookie specifically was like, holy shit, it kills me. Like that cookie whoops my ass. And I still have over a half refrigerator that I put in the refrigerator so I can keep it longer. And like last night, I took a little piece because I really hurt last night. My shoulder, like they probably gonna have to reconstruct it. She said for feeling around. Um, I have a pretty positive torn rotator cuff from physical examination. Um, this has been a struggle for a minute. So by the end of the night, usually I'm at home and it's like, but a little of our healing salve, a little bit of a night treat, and 2 Advil, and I can sleep. And that raspberry cookie has been a pinch for this. But any more than that, and like a pinch, I can do a pinch. I just can't do like what I want to do, which is basically so. Pre-diabetic, I could crush both of these. Like I could crush both of these. Delicious, love it. Don't have a full button. Like don't have a full button. Um, yes, yes. That raspberry thing is a back up off it and put this shit down, right? Because it will fuck you up. And any more than a pinch of that, and I'm like, it's past. It is past helping me and just putting me like in a place I don't want to be. Like it's too much. It's big. It's big. It's big cookie energy. BCE, big cookie energy. And so I appreciate you so very much for that. Um, but yeah, I did not let you give me that. I did not let you give me that. Yes, it is something good. I put half in the freezer and put myself to bed at 8. Yeah, I end up in my chair, and I get in my chair till like 3 a.m. and I'm like, I can't get up. I can't closing my eyes. The other night, I literally told Red, I was like, I'm riding the wave. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, because for 30 minutes, I literally sit there and talk to him like this, and I was like, I can hear you fine. I can talk fine, but my eyes cannot open up. And I sit there for a good 30 minutes to an hour with my eyes closed. He's like, oh, look up and see if you can find this. And I was like, I'm blind. I cannot, I literally cannot open my eyes. And so he laughed about that. But so I wanted to let y'all know what's going on and be very honest about it. I have a very positive attitude no matter what it is. If it is what we are thinking that it is here in this area, the big C word, unfortunately, I'm a little concerned about. That's what we're concerned about. We are going to be fine. I've had half of my thyroid removed before. We'll remove the other half. We'll do what needs to be done. We are going to keep a positive attitude. People say why. People always do like the why me, God. I'm like, why not me? I, you know, I would like to have some health insurance to get through it, but I'm going to have to pay for it out of pocket. So keep ordering those coconut oils. Keep ordering those Waylon meals because that's what I need you to do, right? I need you to tell your friends, send people over who need to get in the door, need to have some night medicine. Continue to support us. That's what I need because I'm paying for this out of pocket. So tell your friends, tell your family, I'm the go-to spot for those things. That's what I need from y'all. And then I am going to 100% keep a positive attitude. I'm going to know that why not me? Because, why me? Why me? Because why not me? I have a community of people who love and support me. I have a team that I put together to make sure that this business runs in a diligently in a perfect manner. I have a partner and a husband. My husband. I would say I try to be politically correct. My spouse wants to help take care of me. I have a sister who would charge hell with a squirt gun. My daddy is going to tow my trailer wherever I need it. A community of people who rally around me and any time that I ask them to. Friends like each and every one of you. I have got this. Whatever this looks like going forward, however this feels, we will handle it. I might not have 100,000 good days. I might have a couple of shitty ones, but doesn't mean that, what is even bad bitches have a bad day, right? So we're not going to claim any kind of sadness. We're not going to claim any kind of pity party. Whatever happens, happens. It is all of divine or nothing is. It will all figure itself out. I will do that. Do what has to happen. I'm not afraid. Like I'm not afraid. I am more nervous for the monetary piece of it because of no insurance. And I don't, and I'm really, might be the reason that this happens to me, right? I do not, and I know a lot of y'all and I have different political views, and that's fine. I'm not yucking anybody's yum. We're not getting into that. But in this day and age and in this world, you should not have to be wealthy to be healthy. You should not, healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. And anybody saying, well, you don't want something for, I don't want shit for free. I work my ass off and I pay taxes like everybody else. And I would rather my taxes, if I'm getting taxed on if I earn money, I get taxed on it. If I spend money, I get taxed on it. If I buy something, I get taxed on it. To keep it, I get taxed on it. Nothing is fucking for free. So if you're watching me and you're bitching about socialized medical care, you can unfriend me right now. Medical should not be a fucking right, a privilege. It should be a right in this country. We talk about human rights in all these other places around the world, then you should have it in this country. Nobody should go to bed hungry, cold, or sick. We have the ability to take care of that. And if you're going to have a community and a society built on freedom of this and freedom of that, it should be about taking care of its citizens. And if you are somebody that thinks that those people that sleep on the streets and all the other stuff are worthless and shouldn't be a part of it, you're part of the problem. Stop looking at that and thinking it's a problem and start figuring out how to fix it, because that's what I do. And that's the part that's that part. And I don't, if you're watching me and you get pissed about that, then you shouldn't be watching me, because you ain't been here long enough. I'm not doing what I do. And I rent a house, y'all. I rent a house. And some of my bills are not paid right now. Right. But we were able to put 15 kids in a bed this year, right? Because they needed a bed. I ain't getting into that, right? But the fact that I can't see a doctor because it's a monetary thing that bothers me. Um, for me to get my biopsy, I have to apply for Medicaid, get declined, which I know I'm going to, because I don't meet the criteria to be able to get a slide scale. But I have to like prove medical should be it should be a right. If doctors should be paid to get you healthy and not to be millionaires. And I'm not saying that there are professions that I believe you should be compensated for it. I'm not saying that hard work, the penance for that is poverty. I'm not saying that, right? But plastic surgeons out here living on yachts, that's, if you want to have that little, you want to do that. But if you want to help diabetics and high blood pressure and childhood diabetes and things like that, it should not be. It's fucked up in this world. It's just, this whole situation is messed up. And it's a lot. But I ain't getting into that. But I just don't think it should be right. That's the only thing that really that stresses me out. It is not about me as far as getting better and all. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna figure it out. But what upsets me is that and I know Denny's been through this with cancer and going through all the ringers, and the doctor saying she's on Medicare and Medicaid. She said, and if she's on a copay of like $600, you can't be seen. Okay, it's life and death. What kind of business? There should be no business of medicine. There should be no business of medicine. Medicine should be it should be a right, because of all the things we do in this country. If you can spend the money that y'all spend on a shit for tanks and trips for the Congress to wherever the fuck they go, stop it and start putting it into the people. Y'all have to stop playing this partisan shit and thinking that it's not going to matter if it's a Republican. It's not going to matter if it's a Democrat. It's not going to change until we stop that two-party system and we say no more. When we stop fighting one another and we start seeing that the people at the top are serving the same master, and it is not the American people. It is not the American people. Until everybody in the world wakes up to that, and we start doing something that's in our best interest, because voting for either one of them is not in our best interest. It is not in our best interest. What is in our best interest is to take it back to the rural communities, to our communities, where we can take care of one another and say, be damned with the rest of it. Because that's how I feel about it. I am trying to build the community as hard as I can. Find me some land. We'll do it up. But on that note, I'm going to get off here because I'm hot about that. That's the only thing that bugs me is the business of medicine. I can physically handle whatever, but I have to figure out how to pay for the business of medicine. Yep. Yep. That's what I said. They're like, what does it matter? You have to do this and do that. And I'm like, well, you know, yeah, you do. You get dismissed by them. And it's frustrating. Yes, I know. Heather's like, get your blood pressure down. Good thing for that blood pressure pill because y'all can see my face turning red already. On that note, I am going to run to the store. I'm going to go get myself some things that will keep me out of the ER, right, and keep me kicking and ticking along. This shoulder. Sorry. Like I said, I have not. I'm just being honest. I have the prizes. I have them, y'all. They're right here. They're gonna go out to y'all. I promise. I just have to draw the winners. I gotta do a wheel, and I just haven't done it yet. And that's just the honest to goodness truth. I've got all the orders in here. So here's what we're gonna do. Um, I am going to 1,000,000,000,000,000% get the wheel done. I'm going to do all the things. We are not giving the white chocolate raspberry away until after this weekend. This one's going to be given for everyone who ordered a Zack Attack. So make sure that if you have not done so already, get your Zack Attack. They're on sale this weekend for $12 while supplies last. All orders placed this week. We started from Wednesday through Monday because it's Labor Day. I will pull every order that ordered from Wednesday through Monday. If you got a Zack Attack, you get an extra entry. If you spent $100, you get an extra entry. It's also, I believe, is it a bonus buy weekend this weekend? I don't think so. Is it a bonus buy? I can't remember. I got to look if we have orders if they did that. That's for the website. I can't remember. We have to look. I don't know if I did a bonus buy. I think it was a lollipop, a grape lollipop bonus buy. I have to look and see. I don't think so. Um, but anyway, orders for that, yes, a lollipop. So any orders over $100 this weekend from Friday forward. So anything that's not been filled yet, anything over $100 gets a free lollipop with your order. And then we're going to draw from all of the people who ordered white chocolate raspberries for the peanut butter stuffed cookie. And then we're going to draw for this weekend for this white chocolate raspberry plus a bonus by weekend. So go get your orders in now. There's still time. There's still Zack Attack cookies. The things you've been waiting on will pop on Tuesday. They're not going to be part of the bonus buy. They're going to go too fast. So that's why they're not going to be included in this sale. But I'm going to encourage you to go grab the stuff that you want. We're going to have get those out next week early. We're going to be closed on Monday for Labor Day. We'll be back on Tuesday getting everything out and about. So all orders through midnight on Monday will qualify for the white chocolate raspberry drawing. I will be drawing for the peanut butter stuffed on Tuesday when I get back in the office. I'm going to do a live Tuesday morning, a little wake and bake for y'all. That is every part of my intentionality. I will set myself a reminder. I'm going to pull that tomorrow and do that at home, get that wheel made up for y'all. And if I don't go live, I'll at least do a little video and film it, and we'll do the drawing, and I'll post the winner and the drawing. I'll have Amy video me doing it, and we'll just post it because I might not feel like it. I've been tired. I've been listening to my body, and that's one of the things I'm going to ask that you just give me grace on, is that I'm probably not going to have anything more than What's Up Wednesday and Sunday sermons for a while. It really, I am going to go get a lollipop, popsicle, and take that home. The popsicles help when they're not super high in sugar, so I like those. And I'm going to make myself, I got some honey because the hot honey, the honey helps. So I'll make myself some hot tea and drink the honey with that. Another good option is a natural sugar. If you're diabetic, we have honeys and hot sauces and beef jerkies and some white cheddar popcorn, all kinds of fun stuff. So I love y'all, and I'm going to get off here today. Like I said, we're at 13 minutes over. I'm sorry. A little peace, a little love, and a little feast. And as always, y'all stay elevated. Sorry I got on that political rant, but that's just how I feel. I apologize in advance. I love y'all. I will see you all soon. And have a good day. Have a good Labor Day. I love y'all.